Hi, it's me, Z4 Beeblebrox, the British Tech Guru. 10,000% import duty. We're not far off it. And as of today, I think the import duty on Chinese goods is 245%. And that will probably, and seems to be doubling it every week or two. So at 245, next time it'll be 550, 590. Call it an even 600, and then 2 weeks later it'll be 1200. 2 weeks after that 2400. 2 weeks after that 5800, or 2400, 4800. Then 2 weeks after that, and so on and so on and so on. They probably end up with 10,000%. Now, what he's trying to do, because the big problem with China is they export more to us than we sell to them. That means there's an import-export imbalance. And that, while it's nice to have cheap toys and cheap tools, and this is a Walmart hyper tough meter, which doesn't actually work. It used to work until it got to be about 3 years old, and then it stopped working. And that's the thing about the Chinese stuff. They've got it cornered, and they sell it cheap, they make it cheap, they design it cheap, they design it to fail, so you'll go back and buy again. And with the amount that you buy again, you could have bought a high quality item and had probably 10 times more use out of it. Anyway, that is part of the problem. And it's going to be painful when places like Harbor Freight, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar, and all those other chains that are based on selling totally Chinese junk go out of business. That's going to hit a lot of people, not just the people that work there, but the people that buy things there. But things there were never as cheap as they seemed, because they wouldn't last very long and you'd have to replace them. Now, for example, my classic example, if you go to one of the dollar stores and you buy a packet of antihistamines, you get a very nice little plastic bottle containing about 6 to 10 antihistamines for about $2 to $3. Not bad. And then you go to somewhere like Walgreens or one of these chemists, drugstores, and you pay $10 and you get like 300 pills. Well, there's where your dollar stores are vastly more expensive. So, and this getting rid of this Chinese thing, or stopping the Chinese dumping products on the market cheap so they can dump more later, and then more, and then more, and then more, is actually benefiting everybody, because it means the supply of cheap junk is now no longer there, so you have to buy the better stuff that will last longer. And this also means, well, although this cheap supply is gone, it means that now the people that were selling this cheap stuff, the chains I mentioned before, are probably now no longer in business. So they're not paying minimum wage to their staff anymore. So their staff are now taking jobs with other retailers and that pay a little bit more. So they've got more in their pocket to spend. Now, there's a finite limit to the amount of stuff that one wants to buy. And the stuff I buy is mostly electronic components. You have seen me buy a few tools that, well, they were actually quite laughable. Now, there are some people that it will hit. Now, there's a lot of YouTubers that buy the cheap Chinese, or preferably the dangerous Chinese products, to take them apart and tell you what's wrong with them and why it's wrong and what it'll do to you. So they'll be hit a little bit, but they'll find something else to make YouTube videos about. Now for myself, and if all this cheap Chinese stuff comes to an end, well, I already have all the components I need, and it'll just mean that instead of my trying to find the cheap tools online, I'll still look for cheap tools online, but I'll find better quality tools that are a little bit more expensive than I've been paying, that will last me a lot longer. Now that Easy 3D printer, for example, it is not much good, but it does work, and I really don't like 3D printing anyway, because it just there's things about it I just don't like. I would much rather use one of those mini lathes. Now I did buy a mini lathe from Amazon. It's listed as a frequently returned item, so we'll see. That drill press, the drill and the vise that came with it, I'm just going to apply for a refund for that, because it's none of that. It's actually usable. So yeah, and if they increase the tariffs, then all this rubbish will stop coming in, and that will raise the quality of the goods produced, or the goods that we have here available. So we'll have higher quality goods available. The lower quality stuff will vanish. The low quality jobs will vanish to be replaced by higher quality jobs. Trust me, it will happen. And this will benefit the American consumer. It will benefit the tax office, of course. And I can only see upsides to this. There will be a slight downside, and people will just have to stop buying rubbish, and you know, and maybe the second-hand shops will pick up again. So yeah, I'm not really seeing much in the way of downsides, and the biggest upside, of course, is the trade balance. And if the Chinese stop buying our stuff and we stop buying their stuff, big deal. And there's so many problems with the Chinese products that we're not losing anything. We really aren't.